and welcome back. Now, I have gone back and watched these challenge season episodes multiple times. I have taken extensive notes. I've made videos on every single episode, and now I have for you the challenge season 35 Total Madness season review. Now, I have broken up this season into 5 factions. I have the cast, format, daily challenge, eliminations, and the finals, and I have broken it down and given each a rating out of 5. Now, at the end of this video, I will take all these scores, put them together, and then divide them by 5, and that will be the overall season rating for this challenge season. So without further ado, let's start off by talking about the cast. Now, this challenge season had 28 total competitors, and the season was made of 7 rookies, 3 of which made it to the finals, and that was Bailey, Casey, and Fessy. Jay won 2 eliminations, won the hearts of many audience members, and we had Swaggy C and Bailey coming in, making it very far together as a married couple, using their connections, their social games to make it very far into the season. I would have to say I'm very impressed with this batch of rookies. Breaking it down even further, 16 challenge finalists who have been to a combined 44 total challenge finals, and then out of those challenge finalists, 7 challenge champs, 4 that won the previous season, and we had a combined 18 challenge wins. So taking that all into account and everything that happened, I would give this challenge cast a 4 out of 5. Starting out this video and this challenge season review out very strong. Now, for the format, we had a copy and paste challenge kind of format. Now, we had the tribunal that we had from War of the Worlds 2 and War of the Worlds 1. The one main problem I have with the tribunal is when we had everybody competing on a solo level, then we had one man and one woman win into the tribunal, and then they just got to bring in whoever they wanted to be as the third wheel, as the third banana. I just thought, like, I would rather the tribunal be the one man, one woman winner, and then whoever came in third place overall be brought into it. And also, I didn't like the way that the tribunals were formatted throughout the whole season, because whenever there was 3 people in the tribunal, majority of the time it was 2 men and 1 woman. There was only 2 times in the whole season when there wasn't more than 3 people in the tribunal that it was ever 2 women and 1 man in the tribunal. I think the Red Skulls was a bit of a miss. I think it was a good try this season. They were trying something different. People had a lot of critiques about the previous season, in particular about people just skating by to the finals, and so they tried to balance that out by having this Red Skull twist where you had to go into elimination to make it into the finals. I like the idea that people had to, instead of not wanting to go into elimination, now they had to try and make deals and work on their connections to get the matchup that they wanted to win, and then never go in again to possibly not be eliminated from this season. It's just the execution did not work out well at all. I think there was no repercussions, especially for the men's side, when they threw in Jay 3 weeks or 3 guys days in a row. It just did not hold the impact that it could have, and maybe if they came back going from the drawing board, it would be much better. But laying all this out in the format, I think that I would give this formatting a 3 out of 5. I think that is fair for this kind of format. I think it was a lot of, we're trying, it just did not execute well. This season on the challenge, with the daily challenges, the producers and everybody involved was really trying to use every ounce of that budget to make every daily challenge a spectacle, with the big rigs, with tanks in multiple episodes, sponsorships with Fast and Furious and Burger King. It just didn't live up to as much of the hype or as big as the rig. It felt to some audience members that it was more of a spectacle than actually being a fun daily challenge to watch majority of the time. Some of the daily challenges I thought worked out really well was Battle Lines, the first daily challenge of the season. I thought it was a good mix of, hey, we're trying to figure out kind of like where everybody stacks up, where's everybody's strengths, where's everybody's weaknesses coming into the season. And I thought it was a fun one to start out the season with. Airdrop Extraction was a good one. Both, it was tough, but fun to watch. Thrown Off, I will always have a soft spot for the trivia challenge in every single challenge season. And Decode and Detonate I thought was really fun. Now some of the daily challenges I think did not work well. At the top of my list is Cold War, of course. I mean, the way this was set up, the daily challenge, people getting hypothermia, the water wasn't being regulated, it was a stinker from the very beginning. Bomb Squad, I think, in theory, was fun with a relay race. I think the execution was terrible, as I think only 2 teams were non-disqualified, and it was just like quickly over if the teams were disqualified, especially if they couldn't get the math problem right off the bat. Tanks a Lot and Running Out of Time were essentially the same daily challenge of just carrying heavy stuff from far distances and putting it into a container. I think Tanks a Lot worked out better than Running Out of Time, but having them so close together and just one being in daytime and on teams and the other one being solo and at night just kind of made both of them kind of fall flat. And Crash Course was fun in the beginning when you saw the first couple, and then it just got very redundant, which I think a lot of people had that critique on the daily challenges for the season, is that they were big, but they were just very redundant, and they didn't add a whole lot in the previous or in the later rounds of the daily challenges. So with all that being said, I think my rating for the daily challenges for Total Madness is a 3 out of 5. I think them being spectacles and big is a plus. I just think that there's still a good amount of improvement to make them fun or different in the coming seasons. Alright, now let's get into the eliminations for the challenge Season 35 Total Madness. Now, some of the eliminations were a lot of flash, but not a lot of bang. And I think I'm a little bit more, when looking at the list of eliminations, I think I'm a little bit more disappointed with how the producers structured the women's side of the eliminations, as they were not as physical as, say, a lot of the guys won. I think I would have preferred seeing a little bit more even split of physical and cerebral for both sides, but realistically, they left the physicality more on the hall brawl at the end of the season instead of kind of putting it throughout the whole season for the elimination. Some of the good eliminations, I think, through the season was Take Shelter with Jay versus CT. I thought that one was a good one. Dust to Dust, where Tori was going up against Jenna. I thought that one was a good one. Pole Wrestle and Hall Brawl, of course, they're classics. They're always going to be good, even if the eliminations were very quick, like in the Pole Wrestle. But I thought those were always fun to watch and really good to see. Not so good eliminations from this season, I would have to say, was Airstrike with Jay and Asaf. In episode 1, we had Flip the Switch in episode 2 with Jen versus Jenny. We didn't even get to see a whole lot of that elimination because it was just so quick, and we saw more confessionals of people talking about it than the actual elimination itself. Code Breakers, that one was in my top 10 worst eliminations of all time. It just doesn't make any sense. It's mainly a luck-based elimination with a quote-unquote puzzle at the end. That's not really a puzzle. And then we had Fireball, which mainly is on this list because of the execution of it. It's balls in, but with the ball on fire, and Jay had to be medically DQ'd. Also, it was in a to be continued, and once it came back the next week and we got the finale of the elimination, it just did not stack up or feel like it warranted a to be continued, so that's why it's on this list as well. Bombs Out, just throwing medicine balls out of a dumpster, boring. And then Tunnel Vision. At one point, everybody thought that the two women were taking dirt naps in the middle of this aquarium filled with dirt. The editing was way off on that episode, and it was just a mess. So with that all being out there and taking into account the other eliminations I did not mention on these two lists, I have to give the eliminations for this season a 2.5 out of 5. Half of these I feel like I could take and the other half I could leave. A lot of these are coin flips, whether they're fun or not, so I would have to give it a 2.5 out of 5. Alright, so taking into account the finals for the challenge Total Madness, taking into account the weather, the environment, how tough it is, I'm sure it was really taxing on the people, especially looking through the comment section of my past videos on the finals and the people that have been in that kind of weather, in that elevation, talking about how your body just hurts being outside in those types of weather. I completely understand how taxing it is. It just did not hold the gusto, or it did not translate to being very difficult and exciting to watch. I think what really hinders the finals overall is the editing style and them editing out checkpoints, making the shots confusing, going into other shots. I felt as though that with the withdrawing of Bailey and Melissa finding out that she's pregnant on top of that mountain, and Bailey tearing a ligament in her knee and pulling themselves out of the finals and leaving it to being a Jenny versus Casey, and then Casey flopping on the math problem hard, leaving it to being a cakewalk for Jenny, really just made things all very predictable. And on the guy's side, the editing really made this challenge final super confusing. Like, my goodness, at one point, Fessy gets his math problem done first, and then the next shots we see of everybody, once they get all their math problems done, is Fessy is completely in last place, and then Bananas is all the way out in front. Corey, who got his math problem out really late, is now in like second and third place, battling out Kyle to see who was going to get second or third place. It was just, to me, a very big mess, especially day 2. I get that there was a blizzard. I get that they probably had to cut out some things because the weather was getting really terrible up on that mountain. Totally get it. I totally understand, but that's the risk you take by doing the finals out in those types of environments. I have to rate what the final product was, the final episode was, what happened in there, and what was served up to us. And what served up to us, in my opinion, was a 2 out of 5. I didn't particularly find this one exciting to watch. I didn't care to really rewatch it a second or third time, but I did watch it a second time, and it just really kind of fell flat yet again. So to me, I think that in all fairness, it does deserve a 2 out of 5. So when taking all these numbers into account and taking the 4, the 3s, the 2.5, and the 2s, putting them all together and mixing it all around, dividing it by 5, and that gives a final rating, an overall season rating to the challenge, season 35, a Total Madness, a whopping 2.9 out of 5, which I think is very fair assessment. I think that if I had to rank this all together, which I'm putting together a ranking of every season of the challenge, and when trying to picture where Total Madness's placement could be in my scientific, putting my goggles on and testing the waters and trying to figure out what's going on, but I think that a 2.9 mid-tier is a very fair assessment for the challenge season 5 Total Madness. But what do you think about this assessment? Let me know that in the comment section below. What do you think about my rankings of every faction of the 5 factions? Let me know that in the comment section below. And if you have your own ratings on these daily challenges, eliminations, finals, all that good stuff out of 5, and putting together your own average for your season overall rating, let me know that in the comment section below as well. Thank you so much for watching. While you're down there, hit that like and subscribe button. I'll be back really soon with more challenge content, more content in general. But until then, peace.